Okay. Please.
Back off.
Please. No problem.
Let's talk about the story of I Am Alive. The story is set 1 year after The Event, which was a huge earthquake that caused major destruction throughout most of the world. You play Adam, a man desperately looking for his family in the town of Haventon. You are tasked with finding Adam's family while trying to survive the harsh conditions of the apocalypse. Later on in the game, you meet more characters and blah blah blah. The story's simple, but I would say it's actually really engaging with some really likable characters. It's a short and sweet tale of survival, kind of like Mass Effect 3 was, that I really enjoyed playing through. I thought the story overall was really good. Not amazing, but really good. Let's go on to the sound. Now let's talk about the sound. The voice acting for the most part is good, but there really isn't much dialogue in the game. I do appreciate though that they actually got the guy that voiced Adam Jensen from Deus Ex, who I always thought had a fantastic voice. I love listening to that guy, and they got him in this game, which I love that guy, but he's really not used that much, and so isn't anybody else, really. The sound design adds a lot to the apocalyptic setting, making every wind gush and earthquake sound very threatening and kind of creepy. There isn't much in the way of music besides when you are low on health or stamina, but the absence of music actually adds to the abandoned and alone feeling, and reminded me a lot of how Limbo was. Overall, the sound does a great job in the game. Let's go on to the graphics. Now the graphics. At first, the game looks damn good for just being a $15 downloadable game, but then it gets less appealing to look at. About an hour into the game, the streets of this abandoned and destroyed city gets covered in this dust fog, which makes it very hard to see and blurs the whole game up, and it makes it look really ugly. I know this was the developer's intention, but damn, does it get boring to look at. When you do get out of the dust and go into a building or the subway system, the game does shine and it looks really good. Color-wise, the game never really changes. It's always like gray or black or white, but texture-wise and even character-wise, like the character designs, it does look really good, especially the environments, which have a lot of variety and they are all well thought out and designed. Overall, the graphics take a few stumbles here and there, but for the most part, they are impressive for how much the game actually costs. Let's go and talk about the gameplay. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Ubisoft wanted this game to be the next great survival game. The last one that I played that I thought was really good was Disaster Report, which came out like 10 years ago. What that game lacked in combat and controls, this game more than makes up for it. There are three main things to the gameplay, which is the platforming, combat, and the survival. The platforming is your traditional Ubisoft Assassin's Creed type platforming. It is pretty much exactly like that, except your main character, Adam, has a stamina bar, which means if it drains all the way, then you will only have a few seconds to get up somewhere before you fall to your death. There are some cool, some control problems, but for the most part, I think it is smooth and a nice change of pace from Assassin's Creed platforming, which pretty much has no repercussions. I mean, you could pretty much stand on a ledge, well, not stand, but hang off a ledge for like 2 hours, and Ezio will be like, yeah, this is what I do. Adam, if you do that with Adam, he's gonna fall off like in 10 seconds, so you can't do that, which I do like. The second part of the gameplay is the combat, which, unlike the platforming, is very original and well put together. Your character starts off with a pistol with no bullets, which can be used to intimidate other survivors that want nothing more but to kill you. A little bit later in the game, you also acquire a machete, which can be used to surprise attack an enemy that was trying to intimidate you. Like, if an enemy comes up and says, hey man, I'm going to intimidate you, you could just like whip out your machete and slit their throats right there. And they're not going to do anything because they don't have a throat anymore, because I slit it. So anyway, if you have a group of 3 guys that are trying to intimidate you and trying to push you back and whatever, and one has a gun and the other 2 have machetes, then this is where the strategy part kicks in. First, you surprise kill the guy with the gun and then intimidate the other 2 guys with your gun, of course. Now, if you stay there too long without firing a shot from your gun, then they will call your bluff and rush and attack you. So try to eliminate them as fast as you can. You can either get in close and perform a melee kill or try and use the environment to your advantage. Overall, the combat always introduces you with new ways of taking out your enemy, and it is a lot of fun. It really is. It's very unique, very fun. Good job. Now, the last big part of the gameplay is the survival aspect, which is probably the biggest part of the entire game. Throughout the game, you will find items that will become useful to you at certain parts of the game. You'll find things like painkillers, soda cans, water bottles, and etc. All of these can be used to either refill your health or your stamina gauges. Health is pretty explanatory, but let me explain the stamina gauge. You will use stamina while you are running, climbing, like I said before, or going through the dust-filled air. If it runs too low, you will only have a few seconds to heal yourself with an item that will increase your stamina so that you can keep going. I would say the stamina bar will easily be your worst enemy in this entire game. It really will. Like, I mean, guys with machetes, that's cool and all, but freaking filling your lungs with dust, that's not a good thing. Throughout the ruined city, you will also find other survivors that want to eat your face. But there are a few survivors out there that don't want to eat your face, and these ones you can actually help out if you really want by giving them like an item of your item list, you know, like a soda can or a health pack or whatever. Or you can let them die, of course. That's fine, whatever. This will actually easily expand the length of the game for people that want to go out of their way and find all 20 survivors. The combination of all three of these components set this game apart from most games out there. I'm going to tell you what, I waited 4 years for this game, and while it didn't fully deliver, I mean, there's some problems here and there, I am still happy to say that it is still a great game that anybody that complains that games are too similar nowadays, me, those people need to play this game, because this is not anything like most games out there. This game is easily worth your money, 15 bucks. It might be pretty short, about 5 hours, but still, it's definitely worth it with a really good story, good voice acting, good graphics, great gameplay. I easily recommend I Am Alive. It is a great game. There you go, there's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely check this game out because it's easily worth your time. Thank you, and goodbye.
And for now, I am alive.